Has this ever happened to you? You shared good news, a plan, an idea, a dream, and at that moment, everything seemed right. The words came out of your mouth with enthusiasm, almost as if the future was already guaranteed. But then time passed, and something strange started to happen. Things got stuck. The motivation disappeared. The paths that once seemed open suddenly closed, and deep down, a disturbing question began to echo in your mind. Did I talk too much? Maybe no one has ever said this to you before, but the habit of telling everything before the right time has been the greatest silent thief of your dreams. Not because there's something wrong with your plans, but because you expose them to eyes that weren't ready, to ears that don't cheer for you. And here's the truth. The world isn't always prepared to hear what God is building in silence inside you. This video isn't just about staying quiet. It's about understanding the power that lies in keeping silent when the world expects noise. It's about reclaiming your inner strength, protecting your projects like someone shields a flame from the wind, and rediscovering the extraordinary energy that is born when you stop explaining and start simply acting. Over the next few minutes, you'll understand why the greatest sages in history, and the most successful people too, spoke little. You'll discover how silence can be your shield against envy, your antidote to doubt, and your fastest path to achieving peace. And more than that, you'll learn how to identify the people who deserve to hear your plans and those you must keep at a distance, no matter how friendly they seem. Because what's at stake here isn't just what you want to achieve. It's the version of you that is trying to be born, but is being drowned by too many loose words. Now take a deep breath, because what you're about to hear might completely change the way you protect yourself, how you move, and how you conquer. Let's begin. From an early age, we were trained to speak, to share, to tell others what we feel, what we think, what we dream about. And of course, there's something beautiful in that. After all, sharing a victory, an idea, or a hope can warm the heart. It can even give us that fleeting sense of connection. But what almost no one taught us is that not every connection is safe. The truth is, there's a silent mistake that thousands of people make every day, and maybe you're making it too, without even realizing. It's the mistake of believing that by speaking about your plans, you are making progress, that by announcing your goals to others, you'll be more committed, more disciplined, closer to achieving them. But neuroscience shows the opposite. When you share an intention before you execute it, your brain interprets it as a kind of symbolic accomplishment. You feel good just for saying it. You feel validated by the approval. But the body doesn't move. The mind, misled, reduces the urge to act. It's as if a part of you says, I've already said it, I've done my part. But reality doesn't change with words, it changes with actions. And actions require focus, silence, and undivided energy. And that's where the trap is set. You start talking too much, sharing too much, posting too much, and without noticing, you begin to lose strength, to doubt yourself, to stop believing. Why? Because when you open your life too much to the outside, you also open space for doubts, for other people's opinions, for biased eyes that don't understand the greatness of your vision. Imagine a project still in its seed phase, fragile, sensitive, delicate. You pull it from the soil too early, expose it to the strong sun, show it to everyone, and it dies. Not because it wasn't good, but because it was exposed too soon. Speaking, in this context, becomes sabotage disguised as enthusiasm. You think you're sharing, but you're draining yourself. You seek encouragement, but receive judgment. You want support, but find comparison, criticism, envy, and unsolicited advice that only confuses your path. And every word you speak is a drop of energy leaking away from your purpose. I've seen it happen to talented people with incredible ideas who got lost because they talked too much about them too soon. Creative minds who announced projects and never completed them. Entrepreneurs who told everyone about big plans, but never took them off the ground. All because their energy was spent on talking, not on building. But here's the secret no one told you. When you guard, you protect. When you stay silent, you concentrate. When you focus, you accomplish. That doesn't mean hiding. It means choosing wisely what you share and with whom. It's learning to discern between the need to vent and the urge to seek validation. Because if what you're building is truly great, then it's worth protecting it from the noise of the world. And when you do that, something shifts inside you. You stop depending on other people's reactions. You start acting from clarity, not from a need for applause. And believe me, the loudest applause of your life will come after you've achieved, not before. Now that you understand how speaking too much can drain you, we need to go even deeper. Because the greatest danger doesn't always lie in the loose words, but in the eyes that listen to them silently, carrying an invisible and treacherous force. You know that friend who's always around, always has a word of encouragement, always says they're rooting for you, but something in their energy never feels entirely sincere? Sometimes the biggest enemy on your journey isn't the one who openly attacks you. It's the one who watches you closely, with a subtle smile on their face and silent resentment inside. It's the one who claims to be by your side, but secretly hopes you won't go too far. Envy disguised as friendship is one of the most treacherous forces that exist. It doesn't scream, it doesn't threaten, it sneaks in, it settles into your routine, it feeds on your victories, not to celebrate them, but to suffer because of them. And the most dangerous part, these people often don't even know how to handle their own feelings. They truly believe they like you, but the success you achieve, the light you carry, the progress you manifest, awakens in them the pain of not living the same. And instead of feeling inspired, they feel resentment. So how do you identify this kind of person? Pay attention to the signs. 1. They compete with you in subtle ways. You share a success and immediately hear something like, "Oh, I've done that too." Really? I know someone who did something bigger. They can't just congratulate you. They always need to downplay or compare. 2. They disappear when you're doing well. Interestingly, these people show up when you're down. They call, visit, send messages of support. But when you start rising, they vanish, because seeing you grow forces them to face how stuck they are. 3. They make comments disguised as concern. Are you sure that's for you? Careful not to get disappointed. They sound like they care, but carry the weight of doubt, fear, and seeds of discouragement. And if you're emotionally vulnerable, you may absorb this as truth. 4. They treat you differently when you share good news. Watch for facial expressions, for silence after your statements, for lack of celebration. Those who truly rejoice with you smile with their soul. Those who envy you force empathy, but their spirit betrays their discomfort. 5. They speak about you ambiguously to others. It's not outright gossip. It's subtle remarks like, "Oh, he's trying some new things. Let's see if it works out." Or, "She's changed a lot, huh? Not sure if for the better." These are phrases that disqualify you without directly attacking. They are whispers that plant doubt in other people's minds. Now, why do these people stay close? Because they need your light to try and dim their own darkness. They want to feed off your energy. They feel that if they stay close enough, they can absorb what you have without truly changing themselves. But what they don't understand is that nothing true can flourish in the energy of falseness. So how do you deal with it? Here are 5 practical strategies that work. 1. Limit access. You don't need to fight. You don't need confrontation. Just reduce what you share. Don't give them what feeds the cycle. Speak less. Observe more. 2. Test reactions with small bits of information. Share something small and observe the reaction. If you notice indifference, discomfort, or competition, that's a sign. A true friend celebrates even your smallest victories. 3. Don't seek validation. Stop chasing approval where there's only resistance. You don't need these people to understand. What you need is the freedom to grow, even if that means growing away from them. 4. Strengthen your spiritual field through prayer. Yes, pray. Ask God for protection. Ask Jesus to give you spiritual discernment to see who's truly on your side and who's silently dragging you down. Pray with faith. Lord, show me who is genuine, and remove from me anyone who smiles on the outside but wishes me harm in silence. Prayer has real power to reveal what is hidden, and when you pray for discernment, God answers. He opens your eyes. He delivers you, but you must be willing to see. 5. Surround yourself with true allies. They exist. They're rare, but real. And when you find them, you'll know instantly. They're the ones who applaud you without envy, who challenge you with love, who cheer for you even while enduring their own storms. And maybe the greatest lesson of all is this: not everyone around you deserves to be part of your story. Some are just temporary chapters. Others are disguised interruptions. But the true ones, the ones who are really yours, will stay silent when they need to and shout your name when it's time to celebrate. There's a kind of power that doesn't scream. It doesn't assert itself through speeches, nor does it announce itself on social media. This power works in silence. It grows behind the scenes, and when it finally appears, it's already solid. This is the power of those who have understood a simple yet rare truth. The less you speak, the more energy you have to act. Stop and think. The greatest names in history, the sages, the spiritual masters, the great visionaries, none of them were known for talking too much. They knew exactly when to speak, and more importantly, when to remain silent. Steve Jobs, for example, kept Apple's most revolutionary ideas under wraps until the last possible moment. He spoke little and delivered much. He understood that silence preserved surprise, strength, impact, and in the spiritual realm, masters like Lao Tzu and Jesus taught by example. They used silence as a tool of wisdom. Speaking little wasn't absence, it was amplified presence. Silence is a force that concentrates. When you speak, your energy scatters. When you explain, justify, expose yourself, you are handing over parts of your power to others. But when you stay silent, you keep that energy inside. It matures, it strengthens, it transforms into conviction, clarity, and unshakable purpose. There's a Stoic saying that goes, "Don't announce what you're doing. Show it when it's done." And this isn't a phrase of pride, it's one of wisdom, because those who understand the value of what they're building don't rush to show it. They rush to finish it. And the most interesting part is that the more you practice silence, the more perceptive you become. You begin to see what others don't. You hear what's not being said. You notice who's really with you and who's just using you as an audience for their own emptiness. Yes, silence is also a filter. It separates those who deserve to be close from those who are only there for convenience. When you stop sharing, stop seeking attention, you start to see who remains, who admires you for who you are, not for what you do or provide, and that alone is liberating. But silence is also strategic. It gives you time to observe your environment, time to adjust your steps, time to mature ideas that aren't ready to be born yet. In a world where everyone is shouting, competing by shouting back is pointless. The ones who win are those who speak less often, but with greater impact. And that impact is only possible when every word is spoken with intention. Every sentence must carry weight, direction, clarity, and that only happens when you've learned to hold your tongue, train your mind, and strengthen your heart. Now don't confuse silence with passivity. Being silent is not being shy, nor is it being absent. It's being selective, precise, intentional. You don't stay silent out of fear. You stay silent out of strength, because you know your energy is sacred. And every time you hand it over to someone's curiosity, you weaken yourself. The strong stay silent and act. The insecure speak and seek approval. That's the dividing line. Once you understand this, everything will change. Your mind will become clearer, your focus sharper. Your relationships will adjust naturally, and little by little, you'll realize you need to speak less to achieve more. But now we arrive at a more practical question. How do you apply this silence in everyday life? How do you remain quiet when everything around you demands that you show up, take a stand, explain, announce? How do you find balance between expressing what you feel and protecting what you're building? That's exactly what we'll explore next. In the next chapter, you'll discover how to use silence in a practical and intelligent way in your daily routine, not to appear cold, not to isolate yourself, but with a clarity that will transform the way you communicate and the way you conquer. Now that you've understood the power of silence, you might be wondering, how do I put this into practice? Because yes, in the real world, there are situations that demand conversation, exposure, and positioning. But that's exactly why you need to be strategically selective. The key isn't to stay silent all the time. The key is to know when and with whom to speak, and more importantly, to know what should never be said. Let's start with an essential principle. Not everything that is true needs to be said, and not everyone who smiles deserves access to your inner world. Life is made of layers, and the more sacred what you're building is, the more intimate your relationship with it should be. That's why there are at least 3 areas of your life that must always be preserved with care. 1. Your projects in progress. While an idea is still being formed, it is fragile, like a freshly sprouted plant. It can't yet withstand strong sun or wind. It's in this phase that insecurities arise, adjustments happen, and failures, which are part of the process, occur. When you share a premature idea with the wrong people, their judgment can create doubts, and those doubts can kill what you didn't even have time to nurture. So let it grow first. Speak only when roots are formed, when the foundation is firm. 2. Your intimate relationships are frequent targets of envious energy, and especially when they are strong, healthy, and joyful. When you expose your relationship, whether romantic, family, or spiritual, you open the door to comments, judgments, and projections that don't belong to you. And worse, you open space for comparisons. Let your love be felt by the one who lives it with you. It doesn't need to be displayed to anyone. Real love doesn't need an audience. It needs silence, care, and presence. 3. Your next moves. What are you going to do? Where are you heading? What are your plans for the coming months? If you answer these things too quickly, be careful, because every time you reveal your next steps, you're showing the world your strategic map. And not everyone who hears that map wants to see you reach the destination. Some are just waiting for the right moment to sabotage the path. Others to race ahead of you. That's why you must protect your movements until they've been executed. The impact of an unexpected result is far more powerful than the announcement of an intention. Now, how do you practice this silence intelligently, without coming across as cold, mysterious, or arrogant? Here are 3 simple actions you can start using today. 1. Learn to pause before you answer. Often, the impulse to share something is born from momentary anxiety. If you take just 3 seconds to breathe, think, and filter, you'll realize that 80% of what you were about to say didn't need to be said. 2. Use neutral answers. You don't need to lie, but you can preserve. If someone asks about something you're still working on, say, "I'm working on something, but it's too early to talk about. There are a few things in motion, but I'm focused on making them happen first." These kinds of answers communicate boundaries with respect and firmness. 3. Observe more, speak less. Everyone around you is always revealing themselves. When you stop talking, you begin to hear what used to go unnoticed. Body language, tone of voice, casual remarks. All of it is information. And the more you observe, the more you understand who deserves to be close and who is just curious. Discretion isn't detachment, it's wisdom. It's taking care of what truly matters. It's choosing peace over performance. And this very wisdom is what protects you from energies that slow your journey down. In the next chapter, we'll go even deeper, because there is one type of person who poses the greatest risk to your dreams, the one who pretends to be your friend, but is actually envious of you. We'll talk about the hidden signs of that kind of falsehood and how to protect yourself without confrontation. Not everything that grows needs to be shown. Not every process needs to be explained. Some things lose their value when exposed too soon, and that's why you need a space where no one else enters, a place that's just yours, your secret garden. This space isn't physical, it's spiritual. It's the inner territory where your dreams, intuitions, and promises are nurtured before they ever appear in the world. It's where you speak with God. It's where you listen, not to what others think, but to what your own heart says. And this space must be protected with utmost care. Many people don't achieve what they desire because they share everything too soon. They expose ideas that are still unripe. They showcase relationships that are still fragile. They talk about plans that have barely begun to take shape. And when they do that, they hand over what is sacred to people who don't understand, or worse, who don't want to see it flourish. Keeping certain things to yourself isn't hiding. It's honoring. It's understanding that the invisible is fertile, that silence has its own divine timing, and that some blessings only mature far from the noise. In your secret garden, you can dream big without fear of judgment. You can make mistakes, adjust, start again without the weight of external eyes. You can hear more clearly what God is trying to tell you without outside voices drowning out the truth. You need a space where the world doesn't interfere, where your yes and your no don't depend on anyone's approval, where the only answer that matters is the one that comes from above. And for that, silence is necessary, stillness, intimacy with what is essential. That idea that's just beginning to take shape, keep it. That desire God planted in your heart, nurture it discreetly. That feeling still forming inside you, protect it, not out of fear, but out of reverence. Not everything needs to be shown right now. Not everyone needs to know what you're doing. Sometimes the miracle has to happen in the dark so that it can shine at the right time. People who live in connection with themselves and with the divine already know this. They speak little, feel deeply, and move the world without drawing attention. And maybe this is the kind of wisdom that's been missing from your journey. The world taught you to post everything, to tell everything, to show everything. But the truth is, the deepest things in life don't ask for a stage. They ask for roots. And it's in your secret garden that you build those roots, away from rush, away from comparison, away from interference. There, you don't have to prove anything to anyone. You just need to be faithful to what God has entrusted to you. Now that you understand this, you're ready for a new kind of achievement, one that doesn't need to be announced. Because when it comes, it will speak for itself. And for that to happen, there's one last step. It's time to seal this transformation, to reaffirm your choice for silence, for wisdom, and for discreet action, and to connect with those who share this same pursuit. Now you know, speaking less is not being cold. It's being strong. It's understanding that not everything needs to be explained, that there is a time to be silent and a time to act, and that many times silence is not absence, it is strategy. You've learned that too many words can drain your strength, that exposing your plans too early can attract eyes that aren't rooting for you. You've understood that the world is not always ready for what God is building silently inside you. And that's why protecting your journey is just as important as walking it. Throughout this video, we talked about the dangers of speaking too soon, about false friends, disguised envy, and the importance of cultivating a secret garden, that intimate space where your roots grow far from the noise. From this day forward, may you choose to speak less, to listen more, to observe attentively, and to trust. Your results will speak for you at the right time. Remember, the most powerful victories are the ones that arrive unannounced. The most admired achievements are the ones made in silence. And the truest light is the one that doesn't need an audience to shine. If this message spoke to your heart, now it's your turn to act. Leave a like so this truth can reach more people. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. Share this video with someone who needs to learn how to protect their path. And write in the comments, "I choose the silence that builds." This will be our shared code of commitment to inner transformation. Here at Inner Light, Infinite Wisdom, we believe that silence, when guided by faith, is a sanctuary where great lives are shaped. With each video, we walk together toward more clarity, more strength, and a deeper connection with the divine. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep your vibration high and your mind connected to the divine.